All right, so for the longest time, if you were an Oracle developer, JavaScript was that thing that happened way over there, in the browser. Well, in this explainer, we're going to see how that's completely flipped on its head. We'll break down how JavaScript is now a true first-class citizen running right inside the Oracle database and Apex.
You know the drill, right? For decades, there's been this clear line in the sand. JavaScript was for the front end, PLSQL was for the database. But with everything Oracle has been releasing lately, you have to ask yourself, is that wall even still standing?
Yeah, this was the old way, a really rigid boundary. Think about it. If you wanted to use some cool JavaScript library to process your data, what did you have to do? You had to pull the data out of the database, ship it over the network, process it, and then ship it all the way back. It was slow, it was clunky, and honestly, it was just a massive headache for developers.
Well, today, that boundary is pretty much gone. And the magic behind this is something called the Multilingual Engine, or MLE for short. Now, this is powered by GraalVM, which is Oracle's super high-performance virtual machine. What it does is let JavaScript run natively right inside the database kernel. And that's the key part. This isn't some add-on or a hack, it's a core part of the engine itself, a total game changer.
Okay, so let's get into the weeds a bit. First up, JavaScript inside the database. We're talking about bringing the world's most popular language right to where your data lives. Come on, let's be real. We've all been there, right? You're staring down the barrel of writing some complex logic. Maybe it's parsing a really gnarly string or running some financial calculation. And you're just sitting there thinking, man, this mountain of PLSQL I'm about to write, this would be like what, 3 lines in JavaScript? So here's the fix. MLE inline functions. Check this out. It looks like a totally standard database function, right? But the magic is that the logic inside, that's pure JavaScript. And the best part? You can call it directly from a regular SQL select statement, just like you would any other built-in function. How cool is that? So what does this mean for you? Well, it means you get to use the best tool for the job, period. You can write your complex logic in a language you already know and love, which is a huge productivity boost. And you get to completely eliminate that mental context switching. That gear shifting you have to do when you jump between PL/SQL and JavaScript. Okay, so writing your own JavaScript inside SQL is awesome. But that's only half the story, isn't it? I mean, what about the millions, literally millions of lines of code already written and perfected by the open source community? Seriously, why on earth would you rewrite an email validator from scratch in PL/SQL when it's already been done 1,000 times over? And that is where MLE modules come into play. It's a really slick 3-step process. First, you grab your favorite package from NPM, the giant JavaScript code library, something like Validator.js. Then, you load it into the database as an MLE module. Finally, you create a simple little PL/SQL wrapper to expose it. And just like that, boom, the world's best JS libraries are ready to use right inside your SQL. And the benefits here are just huge. First off, you kill network latency because the code is running right where the data lives. You also stop reinventing the wheel for all those common tasks. And you can keep your business logic totally consistent across your entire application stack. Think about what this means for your team. Suddenly, your JavaScript experts can contribute directly to the data layer. That's a massive shift. All right, now let's switch gears a bit and talk about Oracle Apex. We're going to see how all these new JavaScript capabilities are completely supercharging Oracle's low-code platform and what it means for modernizing your apps. So picture this. I bet this sounds familiar to a lot of you. You hire a new developer for your Apex team. They're a total JavaScript wizard, amazing at front-end stuff. But the second they need to write some back-end logic, they just hit a brick wall. Why? Because they've never seen PL/SQL before, and that learning curve is blocking them from being productive on day one. And the fix for this is, well, it's almost laughably simple. When you go to create a page process or validation in Apex, you just click a dropdown, you change it from PL/SQL to JavaScript MLE. That's it. And just like that, your web developers are off to the races, writing back-end logic in the language they already know and love. I mean, this is absolutely huge for your team's speed. Your JS developer can be productive from the moment they start. They can access Apex session state, they can grab page items, they can even run SQL queries all directly from their JavaScript code. You could, if you wanted to, build your entire application backend without ever writing a single line of PL/SQL. Okay, so that's the backend. What about the front end? Look, dynamic actions in Apex are great. They're fantastic for simple interactivity. But let's be honest, when you have a really complex UI and you start stacking, 20 or 30 of them on top of each other, the page gets slow, it gets brittle, and it just becomes an unmaintainable nightmare.
The real fix, the professional way to do it, is to use the native apex.javascript API. This is a super optimized client-side library for building modern user interfaces. What you're seeing here is a clean, asynchronous AJAX call. It talks to the server, fetches some data, and updates a part of the page instantly, all without that jarring full-page reload. So, what's the bottom line? This gives you that fine-grained control you need to build really fast, modern, AJAX-driven web apps. You can create that super smooth user experience that everybody expects these days, and you can do it with clean, professional, maintainable code, instead of feeling like you're constantly fighting the framework. Okay, let's wrap this up and look at your new full-stack toolkit. The biggest thing to take away from all this is that JavaScript is no longer some language on the outside looking in. It is, without a doubt, a first-class citizen in the Oracle ecosystem. So let's do a quick recap for all you full-stack developers. You've got MLE inline functions to write your math and logic in JS instead of PL SQL. You've got MLE modules to pull in the entire NPM ecosystem. Then in Apex, you have server-side JavaScript so your web devs can build backends right away. And finally, the Apex Client JS API to build those snappy, modern web apps. It's a complete toolkit. So what does this all mean? Well, this quote on the screen isn't just a quote, it's a challenge, really. It's a challenge for you to actually go try it. Go open your Apex workspace, create a page process, switch it to JavaScript, and see for yourself. Because honestly, the best way to really get this is to experience it firsthand. This right here, this is the future of Oracle development.